Hello, and welcome to the Weekly Scroll Podcast. My name is Ryan, and with us we have a couple of returning guests. We have Emily and Lucas. How are you both doing today?
Hello.
I'm great. I'm a zip file full of PDFs or whatever.
Oh, we're doing this again.
Whatever Hunter would have said. I'm that.
Oh, gotcha. You're doing that's a good one too. Hunter's gonna end up stealing that one. Good. You've been here before, which is great. And you're back. For those that don't know or haven't seen the previous episode, and Hunter's not here to go look that number up for me, so I'm not gonna do that. Who are you guys, and what might people know you for here in the ttrpg space?
Yeah, we're collectively Graftbound Press. We are, if we're known for anything, I guess it would be Precious Things, which was a Tiny Dragon Zine Quest game. Yeah, Precious Things. That would have been Zine Quest 2024. Which was kind of technically before we officially formed Graftbound. This is grandfathered in our first partnership there together. But then since then we've done Bonds Between in partnership with Breitbart Games, which just got fulfilled recently. Oh, I love seeing who got which notebooks,
Which
like
notebook?
the sketchbooks.
Notebooks?
What did you get? Oh, you got
I got a box of screws.
It's a screw and a thimble and a paper clip and a bobby pin.
That one's got real goblin energy.
Yeah.
My favorite part, and I want everyone to know this, is that all of the backers that got a notebook from the Bonds Between Kickstarter, all of that art is from the same collage that was used to lay out the game. So like that butterfly is in the book. It's on the solo rules page, I believe, which is page 30. 4. No, it's a right page, so it's odd. So it's 35. Let's say it's 35.
Getting there though, I think.
No,
If
wait,
you
this was
actually
the.
knew,
Oh
like,
no,
the
it's got to be.
exact-
It's got to be in the
have to find out
50s.
now.
No, it's got to be in the 50s because this was
Yeah.
60-page book, and I'm thinking
Right,
of
right.
GLATISANT layout, so it's got to be like 57.
57.
Really close to the end.
You're close. It's 54.
Is it before play by post? Oh, and it's on the left. Oh,
Yeah, there it
or it's
is.
on the
It is
it's
the
on.
solo mode, though. It
It
is
is
exactly
there.
where you said it was.
Good job.
Boom, look
me.
at that. For those in podcast land, I'm holding up the journal / sketchbooky situation from Bonds Between with the page, which is page 54 from Bonds Between. But yeah, I will say I know you guys from Precious Things. I remember seeing the sticker pack on Itch, and that's when I first this is all episode 188, by the way. I did go find
great.
it. Which is only like 6 months ago, because we did jump from 200 to like 268 in episode to episode, one fell swoop. But yeah, check out 188 for the before of Bonds Between.
Yeah.
But
We
but
were
now
still
we're
in the midst of
the-
making that game work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're in the after. It's in my hands, which is nice. And it looks great. I love a square book. I mean, anything that's a different format that's not like an A5 zine is going to stick out on the shelf. So this definitely will.
Yeah.
But how is this? It's really fun. We've only got to do this a couple of times, I think. I would say maybe like one hand or less, where we talk about a game and then either get to review it later, or even less common, get to talk to the people who made it later. So, since episode 188, how did this go? How was running the Kickstarter first and then fulfilling Bonds Between?
Oh boy.
Good. Like overall good. But it is a Kickstarter, so
Yeah, I say oh boy because that was like, that was 2 months of work, and it's all new and all strange, and no two Kickstarters are alike, I think. But we had some really great partners on that, and it turned out great. I had a great experience. It was really cool seeing how people reacted to this like very different kind of mechanic. We like Bonds Between is an original system based entirely on collage out of playing cards. So I guess if I would introduce myself as anything, I'd be a deck of playing cards covered in stickers. I'm comfortable with that. And yeah, like it's like we thought it would work, and then we gave it to people, and they're like, "This was amazing." And we're like, "Oh, it did work."
Yeah, I don't know how often that Zine Quest projects like have time to play test, like depending on when you kind of came up with that idea. But the concept was based around something we were pretty sure made sense. But the amount of time, between the 4 creators that we had to like test out the mechanics and stuff, and it was kind of vibey in a good way. So it's good to see that people like are getting out of it. This is sort of authorial intent, but are getting out of it what we put into it. Obviously, like, they're gonna get other stuff too, but I think it was Steph from ttrpg Kids who was saying that they like the breaks of like stop and make art, and that the collaging was really easy to get into, but it still felt like creating something. And I think that was one of my intents, was like, I want people to be able to be like, oh, I am making, like, I'm already doing it. I'm like, I've been tricked into doing art by a game, and I like it. So, and I think collage is good at that like lowering the bar of people's like stress of want to create something, but it has to be like of a certain caliber, and collage is messy, and it's supposed to be. So it helps with that.
Well, yeah, a lot of people are like, I don't do art, I can't draw. And it's like, hey, anyone can draw. Like, very few people just are born with the innate ability to like make masterpieces. It's a lot of it is the time you put into it.
Yeah.
But like collage is a completely different thing. It's literally like, I think this picture is cool, I will cut this picture out. It doesn't matter if I like I'm in and out of the lines or whatever, and then I just slap it on something and boom, I made a thing. So that's great. And yeah, Zine Quest is a very interesting kind of like mix of stuff, because the number of projects that are like, I've been working on this forever, versus probably a much bigger version of, I had this idea a week ago, and I launched it for Zine Quest, is probably a bigger group of people. So yeah,
definitely.
What did you mean by what do you mean by Arthurian? You're saying Arthurian. In my head, I'm like Arthurian. That's what we're going to get to later.
Yeah.
But like, what do you mean by like
Authorial intent?
Yeah.
Yeah, authorial intent is like the idea that, I think it's more of like a novel, like fiction kind of writing thing, but where like imagine you're in English class and your teacher is like, what did the author mean by this? Like, is this a metaphor? Is this like a, and you're like interpreting it. And I think the authorial intent is like, did the author really mean that? Or does it matter what the author meant? Does it only matter what the reader gets out of something? It's like an argument that I have scratched the surface.
Like a death of the author kind of thing.
Yeah, I think that, I was gonna say, I think Sam's book, Death of the Author, is kind of about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, it literally is called the thing that is that. Yeah, I'm always curious with that, because I'm not I don't subscribe to Death of the Author in regards to ttrpgs, because I think games are made with intent versus literature, and Death of the Author was a supposition or something, like it was for literature. It's supposed to, like, that's where it derives, and I'm always curious, like, when did it jump into TTRPGs for some reason, where like you make a game in order to do a thing, and then these people were like, then Death of the Author comes in and says, it doesn't matter what you wanted it to do. And it's just like, well, I mean, the manual in my car tells me very much what my car does. I don't just get to say that it doesn't do the thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
think,
I'm always curious, like, where people kind of land on that line.
yeah, I see some of that with like homebrew. Like people are gonna take a system and they're gonna patch it to fit their individual situations. So like in that sense, like can you tell them what to do? Like no, because you're not at the table. So they're always free enough that they can homebrew or add or make in moment decisions and stuff like that. But I think with RPGs, like especially I'll say like with the indie ones where it feels like they're calling for specific stories, they're helping you build kind of a specific experience. It's really helpful to have authorial intent there, like in the text, so that you're not on your own of like trying to bring your party through this experience that you've all set out to have together. So I could see that it being more useful in that case.
Yeah, well, I think 2 points to that. One is like, again, back to the car manual thing. Just because I put new rims on my car and a new paint job and like a spoiler,
essentially,
it's still a car, and the car works the same way it does. But also though, like you kind of need to know a rule so you know how to break it, right? So like just because you add something in doesn't mean like knowing the author's intent allows you to alter it in a way that makes sense for your table. So like the intent is still present versus like the absolute absence of it. You know what I mean? Like that's, I think,
right. Like,
important.
does it void your warranty if you start changing things?
Like you can make it anything you want while still acknowledging what like they meant by it. You can just be like, I totally understand what you're trying to do here. I get it. I'm just going to do something different. It's very different than being like, whatever you wanted to do doesn't matter at all. You know what I mean? Like I just feel like that's it. But I also feel like that line wavers is thicker and thinner across different spectrums of ttrpgs. Like OSR out to story games, I think that line will widen and narrow variously through the the different types. So it's interesting. I think in like especially in the lyric games and stuff, I think people care much less about authorial intent and death of the author and whatnot. But
there's more
the first big tangent to the show, But yeah, so Bonds Between. The Kickstarter was a Kickstarter. I can imagine it was stressful.
It went all right. It's that week. It's like if you're a theater kid, you know that tech week is always rough, and then opening night is pretty rough, and then after that, you're pretty much golden. So yeah, it went fantastic.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, it funded later. Like it wasn't a quick.
Yeah, we were concerned there. Like we didn't make that 48-hour window that's like gold standard
what
for
everyone
Kickstarter.
says.
It's like it was a couple weeks in when we finally cracked our funding goal, and we're like, okay, this is gonna happen.
I think people are going to run into that a lot more, though. I mean, Kickstarter definitely peaked post-COVID. Like I think since like I would say probably early 2022, a lot of like funding numbers have been going down and funding links have been going up. So I think a lot of the stuff that people really post-COVID were like, got to do 24 hours, got to do 48 hours, got to do this whole thing. I think that's changing considerably across the board. And I think a lot of good projects are going to take a little bit longer to fund now just because, in this economy, like it's hard to ask money from anybody. So
we're keeping an eye on it for sure.
Bonds and Between in this both.
I could do Bonds, but the Between is when it might be over the edge for me.
It's just a bank breaker.
And then so then it funded, and you guys were on talking about it. It funded, and it's in my hand, and according to YouTube, that was 6 months ago when the episode came out. So that's for Kickstarter. That's a really quick turnaround to actually have it in hand. So how did actually like fulfilling and everything go?
Yeah, we did hit one writing stretch goal, which I think we could have, like, we might have planned to write that additional bit of writing in the front of the Kickstarter, but it didn't it didn't happen, you know, whatever. But then, so we made it a stretch goal because it was like outlined and stuff. And then we hit that. So then that writing did add a little bit of time. And I mean, the four of us, John and Bree and Lucas and I think agreed that we would prefer to have like a much more finished product before funding, because I mean, 6 months is great. But it was still like, there was like a time of what happened was, we wanted to get it out by Gen Con / August.
That's
first.
right.
And so we finished the writing and then the layout and the art and stuff. And there was like, I'm trying to remember what it was, but I think there was just a couple pieces of art because Bree was really swamped. And she was doing some like landscapes. There's some images in the book of like seasonal landscapes.
Yeah,
but she was finishing up
illustrations.
And Breitbart was also trying to finish up their last Kickstarter before Bonds Between, also before Gen Con. So, and I was on that team too for layout. So we were kind of fulfilling 2 Kickstarters. Most of our team was doing that. And then I told everybody that I was taking the month of July off, which had been planned for a while, but July, as you may know, is right before August. And so finishing things by Gen Con and printing obviously is part of that, but having things to the printer and back by Gen Con suddenly became having things layout and print ready by the beginning of July. So it was a little hectic actually, mostly because of that. So it was less like the Kickstarter pressure, I don't think was there. It was our own timelines of like, because if we hadn't made it to Gen Con, we would have made it shortly after, you know, it would have been still mid-August, I think, that we were getting that stuff back from the printer. So me and my vacation, month-long vacation, which I highly recommend. If you can, obviously financially.
Yeah, wouldn't that be nice? So you could just take a month off. Yeah.
At least, like, I don't know. I feel like call it a sabbatical, do it once every like 5 years. But
in this economy,
yeah. So that put a little this economy. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm speaking from a place of privilege and freelancing. But yeah, that definitely put like a weird, I don't know. Like, I don't expect that to happen, but I expect something like that, I guess, to happen with every Kickstarter.
It's always
but
something.
I felt proud of like the timeline of it still and getting it all out. But it was good. It became a little bit longer. I don't know if that is a mixture of writing or of like the layout and the square format. But I think we were estimating like 44 pages and it was 60. So oops.
60 is a solid
it's
number,
bigger.
though. I mean, it's a great. I mean, if you're gonna be divisible by 4, 60 is a nice round number. So
yeah, rare. And I'm really extraordinarily proud of it. I think that Bree's art is really well done. I think that John and Lucas wrote in a way that you can't like distinguish who wrote what bits. Like, they did a good job collaborating on that. And Lucas, you tell them why I did a good job.
I mean, where in the world are you going to find another TTRPG whose primary game mechanic and whose layout conceit is collage? Like, people don't do that because it's hard and it requires a very different way of thinking. It's this like maximalist sort of joie de vivre. And, you know, it looks like nothing else on the shelf. It feels like nothing else on the shelf. It plays like nothing else on the shelf. This is what, like, there's this weird thing that happens when you make stuff where you're like, this one I'm just going to do and I'm okay with it. And then it turns out to be one of the best things you've ever done. It's like, dang it, we did it again. I didn't try to make this one a banger. And then I think it was.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
mean,
That's me talking, but
right. I mean, we're still in August, so this hasn't been out for very long.
It is September, unfortunately.
Just barely.
God damn it.
So
God
sorry.
Sorry, man.
September. So it's just barely the beginning of September.
Yeah.
So there's not many people saying it's for very long. You know, it's neat. It's very interesting. And like you said, the layout is fantastic. Lucas didn't do a very good job of talking about Emily and how wonderful it is, but you did a really, really fantastic job. It looks great, and it's a lot. Like, for a little square book to not feel like crowded, but to also feel collaged and to have this much stuff in it, you did a really, really good job laying it out. So good job.
Thank you. Yeah. Thanks to my grandmother.
In the PDF and everything.
Yeah. I hadn't yet. I didn't, and I'm planning to update this, but it's not bookmarked, and I'm really sorry about that. But there's hyperlinks and page cross references are all linked.
There you go.
Like that.
Incredible.
And yeah, special shout out to my grandma who keeps giving me her Better Homes and Gardens magazines. So feeding my collage.
I mean, I will say that, like, the thing that makes a layout feel like Emily's work is that it has margin and space in a way that's hard to come by. Like, and maybe OSR is like this, or maybe if you're coming from Morkborg, where it's like maximalist death metal all over the page as much as possible. Emily has this like very clean sense of how to make a layout. Regular and balanced and breathing, like it has room to be itself. It's not cramped. That's how I can tell when Emily did a spread.
I do agree. Margins are great. Don't forget margins, people out there. Your ttrpgs. If I can't open the book without covering something with my thumb, your margins aren't big enough. That's literally the reason they exist.
That is a really good point.
Yeah. But yeah. So that's Bonds Between, which is what we were talking about last time. And this time, you guys have another project coming from the initial. So this is. Let me write a note.
Okay.
And then I'll come back to this.
I am very curious to see how it hit you without sort of our intervention on the subject.
We're talking about so what is the new Kickstarter that you guys are going to be running soonish? Yeah.
Yes, September 16th we're launching.
Very close, 2 weeks out. And it's this one. Those of you in podcast land, I have it here. This is we put together an Ashcan version of it for Gen Con, so this has this like very sort of scrappy kind of rough textured paper feel to it, which I love very much. And this was version 0.5 of a game called GLATISANT. This is a 2-player asymmetrical ttrpg of purpose, pursuit, and guidance that relies on the Arthurian legend of the questing beast to ask big questions about what the object of your desire owes you in return. What does it mean to have and chase a dream? And what if it's for anyone who has ever loved something more than they felt they were loved in return?
It's absolutely chock full of authorial intent. It's just filled to the brim with it, really.
Sounds like it. And Arthurian intent, you know what I mean?
Yeah, Arthurian and authorial intent.
Yeah,
both.
There you go. And yeah, I'll just say straight up, like, hold that Ashcan up again. This is peak TTRPG to me. Like, like thick, scratchy paper 0.05 versions of games. I have multiples of those on my shelves, and they're my favorite ones. Anytime you can get something like that is great. More people like print or home print your Ashcans and give them to people. Like, they will very much appreciate it.
Yeah,
you know? So much fun.
And because we made that, like, I think on the itch we have the print it yourself like file, so like it's all you know, the pages are all imposed and collated the right way so that you can just like print them out and fold up your own zine, because like that's the, I mean, obviously lots of people use PDFs and they're hyper usable, but like if you want a physical thing, like I'm just printing it on my printer. Like if you want to go to the library and print it, like you can have this scrappy ash can in your hands.
I remember the first time, because I made this in a Word doc before I gave it to Emily, and like good layout happened.
Listen, it's a wizard's job to be able to do layout in a Word doc. I'll never really understand how people do it.
It's right, like
people
it's
do
good.
it, and I don't.
Like, do
I'm
it,
like,
and it's
I'm
fun.
like, I'm amazed. I'm just amazed.
But
I will
I
say,
did print that off.
I probably make it even more of a pain in the ass because I write in docs in pageless. So I don't even care what's on the page, and then have to be like, oh, that's cut off into different areas. Sucks for layout.
Not my problem.
It's literally someone else's problem. Yeah.
Literally, what you pay people like Emily to do is to take this Word doc that is pageless and this fucking wide on the screen, but only uses this much of the screen because you write it as oh god, why is my brain breaking? When you have like one and then it's like tabbed into A, B, C, D.
Oh yeah, a bunch of indents.
You just write it as like a list.
Yeah, like everything is just that.
I will say, yeah. I printed this off, and like I remember the day that I did it, because I printed it off and I got the cover done, and I figured out how to staple bind a book. I was like punching holes with a needle and putting a staple in, and I pulled it up, and then I suddenly had a book in my hand, and I just walked around my house going, book.
You can also for about $10 on Amazon, you can buy a stapler that is really long.
One of the really long ones? Oh, I should have done that.
Hot tip. If you don't want to get the long arm stapler, if you don't want to pay for a long arm stapler, you can get what's called a swing arm stapler, where it swings sideways so that it's open air, so you can fit any length thing in it, and then you just turn the little bottom bit. Anyway, they're cool. Go look it up. They're cheaper than long arm staplers.
I don't know which one of those two things I was talking about then, because what I was talking about was like, I think what you're talking about, swing arm. I literally just put swing arm in and I found like motorcycle stuff.
Long arm staplers are like big, they have like long arms.
That's
they have like a choke.
Wait a minute. Wait a second. The long arm stapler has long arms? That's crazy.
Yeah, I know it's a shock.
Yeah, let me explain it to you. So
and I will say, the swing arm stapler, it does swing out, so that's great. No, I was talking about a long arm, but the swing arm does look neat. So that's stapler talk for the day.
Right. We're doing that.
But punching a needle, you know what's also great? You can just like hand bind it yourself. That's what I was doing. A sewing machine works great too. You can literally just buzz right down the middle.
That's
but crazy. I like punching a needle in and just like, did you hammer the staples into it then?
Yeah, I got like a pair of pliers that I set the staples exactly the length of the plier from the bottom of the page.
Yeah, and just see, that's even more. You're going real.
That's love, and that's love, and that's what.
Yeah. There you
really
go.
like this game is a passion project, start to finish. So it got. Like I did things for this game I would never have done if this were my job. And it is now my job, which is weird. But this was like before then. So here we are.
So speaking of from start to finish, why? Like why a 2-player Arthurian duet ttrpg with the questing beast and whatnot?
Yeah. So this whole story I want to give you in the context of a phenomenon that I call the snap, which is that thing that happens in your brain when you know that the mechanics and the story and the meaning fit in a really important way. So I wrote this on the way home from PAX Unplugged 2023. Which I think might have been like right after we met.
It was a year before.
Oh, was it? Okay.
Yeah.
PAX very much blurs together. But in 2021, I started writing this book, which is a fully 300-page monster manual of Earth's extinct species, rendered for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. So I came into the industry with Dungeons & Dragons with like a massive, hefty project. And it took 2 years to write this. And that ended, and we funded it in March of 2023. And I didn't know at the time, but that was the beginning of another 2-year process to make it a real thing that I can hold in my hand. And it took This book was really hard to write in a way that monster manuals don't tend to be, because we were grappling with climate change and the extinction crisis and what we owe to the world and our relationship to nature and how to steward it well, and like all of the stuff that politics and religion and faith and love and depression are made of. And it wasn't going to be real for another 2 years yet. Like, I've heard people say that if you have a call to do something, the call will be tested. And that was sort of the dark night of the soul. So I'm on the plane back from PAX U, listening to the Hadestown soundtrack. Absolutely trying to figure out how I'm going to take another 2 years to make this book happen. And I had just read Dragon Dowser. This is a Hatchling Games game that uses the same system as GLATISANT would end up doing. But in this, you're sort of moving over land, like you're on a tableau of playing cards, and you're looking for an ace. So you're trying to be in a place. It's a solo journaling game. And I was just sort of obsessed with this question, turning it over in my mind. What does it mean to love something more than it loves you in return? And at Origins that previous year, I had met an author who said that if you have answers, you're a novelist. If you have questions, you're a game designer. So I wrote a game about this question, and I just sort of kept sitting with it for the next 2 years, while we finally made my first book into a real book. And that's what GLATISANT is. So for a lot of reasons, it had to be what it was. I've been talking for a while. But the snap, so there's a couple of snaps that happened. One was that one of the oldest and one of the most perfect metaphors for that relationship of like an object of your desire that you have no idea how to reach, and you don't know how it feels about you in return. One of the oldest and best, I think, metaphors for that in literature is the questing beast. It's almost like the Holy Grail if it had feet and could move. So, this like impossible to describe chimeric beast that just is out there sort of running around yelling at everyone, being a general nuisance, and the knight has to go and quest after this thing and sort of define the nature of his vows or their vows by going and finding this beast. That was a space to play in. Like that was a statement of Arthurian intent, which I could have a conversation with in the context of the game. The other snap was the Carta system. So this game, I think, came out in 2021, and it runs a lot of solo journaling games that are based on exploration. So you lay out, and we're back to playing cards because I think these are a truly beautiful, mathematically impossible thing. So you lay out a spread of these, 20 to 25 of them, and you assign a story beat to each one of them in the book by suit and rank. So the Ace of Spades is always something, and the 10 of Clubs is always something. And when you turn it over, when you move your token onto that, that's sort of the narrative that you interact with. So that was a good fit because this following the questing beast is about exploring a world or sort of tracking something through space, and in my case, time. But I had never seen a 2-player Carta game. So what that meant I could do was add a second player to the system. So instead of looking for an ace that you don't know where it is, and that would be your Holy Grail, you're looking for a questing beast, and you don't know exactly how they're going to move, and they can move more easily than you, and they know stuff you don't. And all of that is really easily rendered by adding another player to that engine. So yeah, that was how that came to be, and that was how it sort of snapped into place.
Yeah, it's really interesting. The way that you have the knight and the beast, like you just said, doing two completely different things is, I don't know how to describe it besides it's neat. It's a really neat idea. And what you have on the Kickstarter page, that the knight is trying to get to the questing beast, but doesn't know how and doesn't know how to win, and the questing beast knows how to win, but I guess the two only win if the questing beast is doing its own thing and making sure that the knight meets the winning conditions before the knight gets to the questing beast is such an interesting play on mechanics, and just in general, like the idea that one person kind of knows what's going on and one person doesn't, but is like very purposely trying to figure it out is really, really cool. It's a great idea.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
I
put
think
more of a,
I just wanted to trace the origin of that asymmetry back to when we were talking about what the mechanics of the game should look like and how they should rhyme with the concepts of the game, and thinking about hidden information. In two-player games, we had played a couple of two-player games. I don't remember one of them, but one of them was Fog of Love, and it's like you're trying in Fog of Love, you're trying to have a good relationship, but you both have different hidden like incentives, and so to put that on one person and have them know the tableau and the resource addition subtraction that the mechanically that the knight has to kind of wind through to be in the right place for the win condition is I think it's another good rhyme of those mechanics and concepts. Yeah.
Tableau, great word, by the way. That keeps coming up. It's a great word.
Stole that one from board games.
yeah, I think Carta calls it a spread, but you know, we're in French and Middle English here, so
yeah, gotta get fancy with it. No, I mean, we talk about this on the show all the time. You know, and we're unashamedly like we lean way more rules light. Like if you give me a 300-page book, thanks, I'm gonna stick it on the shelf. But we do also say that the shorter a book is, kind of the more it has to work with itself, if that makes sense. Like if you have a 300-page book, a lot of times it's going to feel like it's a whole parts. But, you know, zines, and one of the reasons I love zines so much is because the more all aspects of it work together, the more successful it ends up being. So like when the art really works with the rules, really works with the intent, really works with the design, like it sings, you know, louder and louder, which is great. So, you know, as you said, the snap, the focus, like having all of the pieces all work together, even to the point where mechanically you're like, well, if we're doing this in the game, then the mechanic should reinforce this part of the game. Yes, like all the time. Like that's great. That's really what people should strive to have. You know, like I've talked about this before with people. It's like, why would you pick this system to do this thing? Where like if you're building power, it would make sense to do like a dice pool where you're adding to it because you're building up, like those kind of like simple kind of things to add into it. So yeah, I again, it's I'm really excited to see the actual like application of this really, really neat idea, because the asymmetry, not a lot of games I think do asymmetry, because it's hard. It's fucking hard, especially if you have to balance it.
It's like learning two different games at once.
Yeah. But that's great. I mean, we're adults. We can do two things at once. You know?
Yeah, and it's asymmetrical, but it's also cooperative in that if you win or you lose together, and so I think that helps balance. Like your goals are ultimately the same, or at least they end up uniting in the end.
And to put a finer point on it, you both know that, so you both have tokens and you both start on a joker on the outside of this tableau and you're both sort of moving across it. You both know that you must be on the same card at the same time in order to win. But the beast has this extra win condition that they have to satisfy. And it could be some position on the spread. It could be some combinations of resources that the knight has to gain or lose according to different things that happen as they move across the spread. It could be how many cards they've turned over, or sort of the shape of their journey across that spread. So that's the knight always has this singular objective, like get to the beast. And the beast has to move away or closer or around a certain place. And like only through their behavior in the game and the resources they take and the places they go can they communicate that information to the knight. So you are like, it is asymmetrical in that you have different movement, you have different roles, you have different jobs and different resources to use and track. But it is cooperative in that you are both genuinely trying to make each other better.
Yeah, it's good. I'm a fan. I'm very excited for this. It's, you know, like you said, like that snap, like just sometimes like you hear something, you're like, yeah, that makes fucking sense. Like the questing beast and the knight, and then doing like, again, this asymmetric system where, you know, it's clever. It's really clever. I'm excited for it. So I have the page up here for the cover, and the cover goes hard. The logo goes hard. Like who, so you're doing the writing, Emily, you're obviously doing the layout. Who's doing all the art? Is that?
So the cover is all me. The finished interior will have pieces by Fran Morton. The Knight and the Beast are as seen on like the Kickstarter preview, like header. You could see that her art in that example there. And then some additional art beyond just those two within the book. But we worked with her. She's done a lot of like, I mean, she's Scottish, so her Arthurian art was one of the things that like helped us find her. So she had already had examples of specific vignettes from the Arthurian myth and stuff. But the cover came about. Well, the cover came about after the title, logo, word mark. I don't know what to call it.
Yeah, I think it's a word mark, and I remember giving you like getting the word mark back from you. That was a day over here.
Well, and because I think I was talking to someone the other day, and I was like, being clever on command is really difficult. Like branding and the graphic design world of branding and logo design, it is like there's a reason that it's expensive. And like if you do it well, it looks really effortless, and it kind of feels like, oh, of course, like, you know, of course that was always going to be the logo of this. So I am really proud of the GLATISANT word mark, because it, I think, does a good job of combining the Knight and the Beast and still being like illegible, and felt really good. Clever at the time.
It's still really clever. I will say this is one of the better, like, you know, kind of like logo word marks for a game that I've seen in quite a while. For those not for those in podcast land, obviously, I mean, go click the save button and back this. But it's GLATISANT, but the G is like, it's got a knight's helmet in there, but it also has like a tail for the loop. There's like a hoof print over the eye. But it also, like the font, like the typeface you chose, definitely speaks very towards, you know, that kind of like Arthurian fantasy. I mean, it's great. It's really, really, really good. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember sitting down and like sketching and looking at like those like drop caps that we associate with like illuminated manuscripts and stuff, and kind of pulling shapes from those, and then realizing that, like, oh, the way this G is there's like space for, there's like a slit that reminds me of the slits in knight helmets, and then from there I was like, bro, what if the G was like really good?
What if we just did this? Yeah.
I think we did. I don't remember if you showed me the G before the rest of the word mark, Emily, but
I did. I got the G and I was like, I'll figure out the rest.
It's coming from there. I feel like all great and terrible ideas all start with, bro, what if?
What if?
You know?
Yeah.
And it worked. So the Kickstarter is launching September 16th. I had originally, because I know at some point, this is maybe, because you emailed me like a long time ago and said September, and I was like, bro, don't even hit me back in August, because my brain works about a week ahead. And it was something like September 2nd or whatever. And I remember seeing that because I was flipping through our emails recently, and I was like, oh, that was yesterday.
Yeah, notably it is past September 2nd.
It is September, yeah. But it's coming up. You know, you do have
we
some
needed
early
an
bird
extra
stuff
2
here.
weeks, and those 2 weeks were like, sometimes when you're planning a Kickstarter, you're like, I just need 2 more weeks. And it turns out like you needed another month or another 6 weeks and you just got to go. And like, I truly feel that this time we needed another 2 weeks. So we pushed it 2 weeks and we're exactly where we want to be, which is crazy.
Listen, the timeline isn't what you make it. So like, it's not like someone's coming to get you if you have to push it again, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen people be like, I'll hit go when it hits 200 followers, you know what I mean? Like, and that works out great. And you guys have over 200 on it. So there you go. But as far as the book itself goes, 40 pages, quote unquote, based on,
give or take,
bonds between.
No. It's actually 40 this time.
40, we'll see. We'll see. But you do have some early bird specials here, including like a relief print. I mean, just keep hitting us with the vibes, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm also obviously a sticker set, but the enamel pin set. I'm a big enamel pin guy. I still got to put all mine on my board.
Love
But I
to
always
do that.
have I got my coffin board of enamel
yes.
pins.
Sick.
But obviously nowhere to hang it because every room my fucking
Abundance
Over
of-
there.
yeah.
I'm also an enamel pin guy. I think I think I leaned in weight. Like I wanted that more than maybe I should. But they are charming because we wanted them as a set and we wanted them to fit together. So it was that it wasn't.
Asia, they did the design of the Asia Kazeb or Kazeb. I've never said it out loud.
I've only seen it in print.
Yes, they're a Polish designer living in the UK, and they did the design of the enamel pins for us. Great job, amazing. We're excited to have them. They kind of, like, if you want to, double as tokens for the game. They're obviously pins, so they're pin backed. But you know, if you wanted to, you could use them in that manner. We, of course, like I'm sure many designers had, you know, so many ideas for what the Kickstarter could have. You know, we could have designed tokens, we could have designed playing cards, and we really did want to have it like as ready to go as possible. So all the art is done, all the writing is done, editing is done. Like the pins are designed, the sticker sheet has been designed, it's been test printed. So there's just like a few, you know, color tweaks and stuff. The layout is, I'm going to confidently call it 90% done, which means we know the page count is 40 and it's not going to change. And I stand by that.
I don't see a stretch goal for more stuff. But I mean, hey, listen, as someone who has backed a lot of Kickstarters and talked to a lot of people that have run Kickstarters but never run one myself, the biggest tip that I give to people is have it as much done as fucking possible before you hit go. Because the biggest and most crash outs I've seen is people who had an idea and hit go and then started writing after it funded. And I have a lot of projects in my list that I will never receive that started that way.
Yeah.
So,
and we learned that from Bonds Between. Like, we had it, I would say 85% done as far as writing and editing, and just like a lot. We had what we thought was a lot, and then, you know, it still took us, you know, time, a couple of months to finish up, like the layout, the art, the editing and stuff. So
it's a cascade. It's never one thing. Like you can't just be like, oh, it's just writing, because you still have to lay out the writing. You still have to put art on the page. Like, you know. Yeah,
we were text complete ages ago. And of course we've still been finagling it, and it has, like, the writing has gotten sharper throughout the layout process. But yeah, especially since this is our first solo project, it was really, really important to us that as much as possible, we were going to make it so that when the Kickstarter closes, we will order the print run, like so close. Like within days, if at all possible.
The best way. Those are my favorite Kickstarters. That they're literally like, we'll send you a PDF email the day that it ends, and
pretty much, you know, like once this closes, it's out. It's ready to go. So, which is also one of the reasons why it's very, very simple. There's very little going on here,
which is great. I mean, in this economy, with what's happening with international shipping and stuff, I can imagine you're probably glad you didn't start messing with tokens and cards and all sorts of stuff and putting things together, because I feel like that would be much more expensive currently.
Someday I want my own deck of playing cards. But that is like, we could have done it and I wanted to, but for the sake of our backers and our customer experience and our own sanity and peace of mind as we try and make this thing happen. We kept it really simple.
Somehow I think this won't be the last game that you make with cards in it, so you probably got a good chance in the future.
Yeah.
You're incredible.
It's wild. You can be a creator for your whole life and you still fight with wanting something that you love and care about to be the best it can be, even if that means nobody ever sees it. And like just fighting that urge to be like, it's kind of gift giving. It's like we want to give, but we want it to be like so impactful because it feels so meaningful to us. And it's really just better to have it out and let people have it, and then we can revisit it. Like we're free to revisit it later. Yeah. So
perfect is the enemy of done. But I'm a perfectionist, and that's why nothing I've ever done has ever seen the light of day. So I'm proud of you guys for making things and actually putting them out into the world. You are better. You are better than me. But yeah. So that is
different ways, I'd say.
Yeah. Hey, I guess I have a podcast. That's what I get. I'm just I'm a rare person, a white dude with a podcast. There's so few of us. But yeah, so that's GLATISANT. That just means like in 6 months you got to have it printed and in our hands and come talk about it again.
Sure. Yeah, let's lock it in.
There you go. Yeah, super excited for this one. We'll make sure that the links to the pages are below. You guys do have like a tiny URL or a short URL and everything. We'll make sure that that's where the liner notes are. For the rest of your stuff, for all of Graftbound, for you guys individually, where can people find your stuff? Where can people find Bonds Between and Precious Things? So
graftbound.com, that's our website, and our web store's there, and you can read about games and stuff there. Graftbound.itch.io for our itch / PDFs of things / things that are print and play or free or those kinds of things. And those are the two main places to get everything. Bonds Between right now, the best way to get a physical edition of that is actually to go to breitbardgames.com, because they have the physical editions right now. We're still we're gonna get an order of those from them, but the original print run came to them and they distributed it. So that's the best way to get a physical edition of that.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for coming on once again to the show. Last time you were here, there was supposed to be the whole 4-person crew, and it ended up being. What's funny is you two have been on the show, but I actually met the other two. I got to meet the Breitbard people at Gen Con. But I have got to talk to you both here on the show, so we'll see if at some point we can switch that. You guys going to PAX?
Planning to. We'll see.
Yeah. I'll get back to you on that one.
Pins, so
I was just reminded that it's the week before Thanksgiving this year, so I guess I have to think about that.
Yeah, I guess every couple of years it moves for a weird reason, but it's also the same week as the Philly Marathon. So if you don't have a hotel yet, good luck.
Yeah, better get one.
I did know that.
To crash on.
But seriously, thank you guys so much for coming on. It's been a pleasure talking with you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, we'll make sure the links are where links are on the internet below, and that's best for today. So thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. Bye.
See you, everybody.
Bye.